Good evening, everybody. This is Ron Pope, CEO of the iGrow Network, and with me here tonight, I've got Mr. Mike Green, one of our executive founders and associate advisory board members. And together, we've got a pretty exciting webinar for you guys here tonight. A lot of great updates. I'll go through some of the updates, and then Mike is really going to walk you through the steps to success and his spreadsheet that he's done. And we've got some exciting changes coming, guys. I mean, this is time to the foundation's in place, and it's time to really start building. And I want you to know that from corporate, we're here for you guys. Okay, we're here to help you build. I was speaking with somebody earlier who was on the phone with someone who had 20,000 associates, and they're looking for a new home. And I'll be doing that three-way personally. We're here. I mean, that's what we're all about, is helping you guys find success. Let's go ahead and jump right in. I want to talk about some housekeeping stuff here. And I apologize. I am dealing with a cold here tonight, so hopefully my voice holds out until I can hand it over to Mike. But as far as housekeeping, we've got the email delivery is working really pretty good. I had Steve checking on that earlier today and testing it out, and because we were dealing with some email delivery issues as we've been whitelisting. I don't know if you guys understand how the email systems work out there and how email delivery, but as an actual email server, um, we have to whitelist with your different email providers. And so we've been working through all of that because of the fact that we did, kick off a new email server when we launched the iGrow network. So it was fresh, it had to be seasoned. And each and every one of you guys that whitelist, notice at igrowmail.com. And if you see any emails from us in your spam folder, mark them as not spam. Every time you do that, it increases our credibility ranking. And so more of our emails will deliver to your inbox. And obviously, that's kind of the whole goal here. So until we are at 100%, which I don't know if that's ever possible, but what I would suggest is that you guys, and I've always done this back when I was building teams, anytime I would get something from corporate, I would take it. I would put my own personal message at the top. So let's say I just received an email from a corporate office. I would put a message at the top to my team, and then I would send it out. Okay, to all my personals, and if I had contact email for people below that, if I was really engaged with the team, and I gathered those contact emails, I would send it out to everybody I could, and that way I knew, okay, that if the corporate email didn't deliver to the inbox, at least mine would. Okay, so that might be something that you guys should do. And it's nice for your teams to hear from you personally once in a while as well. And when you're sending out, I know that my old uplines. Anytime I'd get an email, even if I had already got it from corporate, but then my upline sent it to me, it made it feel special because I knew my upline was engaged in the business as much as I was. So it's all about teamwork and creating an environment within your team there. So definitely, anytime you get an email from us, forward that out. Okay, the next piece of information we're going to go through is some of the new things that are happening in the back office. And I got to say, I'm very, very proud of our programming team. They work extremely hard, and very few teams have I worked with in the past. I've worked with different programming teams, but very few get things accomplished this quickly. And I think that, Mike, you're on the call here with me. I know you've been blown away several times by, the rate at which they get things done. And you've come up with several suggestions, and like within an hour, everything's already done and up for you.
Yeah, to say blown away is an understatement. To actually be able to, I feel like we're painting a picture together. And when we talk to programmers, sometimes you give programmers a message, and 2 weeks later it comes back and they fixed what they thought you wanted, but they were confused, or you were confused. Somebody was confused, but it didn't come out the way you wanted it. So to be able to work with Jamie and his team, direct like that, and get us what we're really looking for. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to really go in and see how powerful that downline viewer is. I got to tell you, Ron, you can drill down in and see what it takes to create a manager, see how many, you can sort by how many people have 3 paid associates. I found that to be very valuable. Just to say, okay, well, I might be IG3K qualified, but how many people on my team are IG3K qualified? Sorting by the column of paid associates, something as minor as that, gives you such tremendous power. There could be somebody down on your 4th, 5th, 6th level that you don't even know, and you find out that they've got more personal sponsor than anybody else in your organization. I don't know, start backtracking that back to their sponsor, and get a hold of the guy and congratulate him and or gal, or you know what I mean. But what they've done with that downline viewer, Ron, is just, it's amazing. I just, to have exactly what we want. When I talk like this, I get a little bit nervous. It's like, well, wait a minute. How many other people out there want to throw some suggestions out there? And by all means, please do. Because we really have a programming team now that is willing to put together just about anything we need. What we got to prioritize it, of course, but pretty darn impressive, Ron, to say the least.
Well, I want to say too, Mike, that you and we work day in and day out, but I'm excited and very, very grateful to have you, dedicating your time day in and day out at corporate and with your 20 plus years in the network marketing industry. You're pretty in tune with your team. You know what they're looking for, which typically is going to be across the board for the different teams out there. And you've had a lot of influence and input, into the downline viewer and some of these different features. And I think people just see them pop up and they're like, oh, that's cool, but they don't know where it comes from. And it comes from us over here. It comes from Mike and myself and others that are inputting and really caring about being able to give you guys a snapshot of your business to allow you to work smarter, not harder. I mean, if you can go in there and literally, like Mike was just saying, go to your downline viewer and sort by, you know, all kinds of different features that we've come up with. Latest one was the paid associates as well as unpaid associates. If you haven't done that, go look. I mean, very very quickly you can see who you need to pick up the phone and call. you know and when you do click on somebody, let's say that you're using that downline viewer and you click on someone underneath of you and you want to see how many they got under them, immediately now what we've added at the top of the downline viewer is a snapshot summary, and it's going to show you everybody or everything they have going on underneath of them in a full summary. And so I mean it's extremely efficient. And so, yeah, Mike, I've loved the input that you're bringing, and guys, I got to say, there's a lot more things still on the table. We're not done. It just, we sometimes Mike and I get a little bit ahead of the programmers, even, but they work at lightning speed, and we're extremely appreciative of having them on board. Let me backtrack just real quick to here too. Under the Vine, we added the 4-step duplication guide. And we're actually going to cover that with you guys here tonight. We covered it last week a few times, and we want to cover it again because what Mike and I have come to the conclusion of is that we have the entire process in place that anybody, that even if you have the tightest of comfort zones that you don't want to come out of, with the process that's been developed. And again, thank you, Mike, for working so hard and coming up with this. But that process is so duplicatable, and I'm not gonna tell anybody what you're doing this weekend, Mike. I'll let you talk about that here in a moment. But guys, home meetings, things like that, to be able to bring anybody into your house and in a few minutes, have them duplicating their downline is just incredible. But anyways, in the back office under the Vine, you'll see as soon as you log in actually to your back office, you'll see the 4-step duplication guide, and there's a downloadable PDF version of it if you want it on your own computer. As well as you can download the iGrow Network compensation spreadsheet. Again, thank you, Mike. You've had a tremendous amount of influence and work that you've been doing lately, and guys, I mean, we're dealing with a professional here that's been in. Mike, how many years have you been in this industry? I don't want to age you or anything, but you've got a lot of
No,
experience.
I just passed 20. It was XL Communications October 30th, I believe was the actual day, 1994. So
And
20
guys, we're
years.
not talking about somebody who's just out there being a hobbyist about it either. I mean, Mike has really focused a lot of his life and made a lot of money in this industry, and so it's incredible the things that the way your brain works, and we bring different aspects to the table too, which is really cool. I mean, you're a really focused on belly to belly building, but at the same time, I mean, you're kind of coming over into the looking at the internet marketers and seeing how they're doing things, and at the same time, I've been really focused on internet marketers for the last couple of years, and you're bringing me back to the belly to belly building. So I love the way that it's all connecting. We're working together on that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so real quick here, leafit status. Had a great meeting this weekend with the head programmer, and I'm not really going to go too deep into that, okay? But it was amazing. I'll just tell you that right now. They're making great progress, and Lawrence Sowell, the CEO to Leafit, had all weekend to be working on version 2 of the desktop, and some of what I understood was that when version 2 and the desktop version come out, it'll automatically update the iPhone version, and I'm being told that the Android version should be able to come out about the same time. But from what I've seen and what the meeting that again, I was in bed sick for 2 days, but I did get up to go down to a meeting for about an hour and a half. And what I saw that they came up with and the direction that it's heading, well, I put it on the page. It's literally sick, guys. I mean, it is just incredible where this is all heading. Now, don't sit back and wait for it to come, but it is coming much quicker than I thought it was going to, actually. And so, without giving dates or anything, I'm just putting that out there. It's right around the corner. I mean, they're working hard on this thing. Okay, so I kind of put a fun picture here, guys. Right now, it's full guns blazing. Okay, it's time to build, and we're here to help you. I said at the beginning of the webinar, I'm going to say it again. Corporate is here to support you guys. All right, and we're going to be changing around the webinar schedule. Lately, we've had Monday night jumpstart webinars. Okay, we're going to keep that 6 p.m. Pacific. We're going to keep that. Oops, I put that on the wrong line, the 10 a.m. and the 4 p.m. Anyway, so we're going to keep the Monday night jumpstart call. Tuesday has been the iGrow 60, Wednesday has been the live Q&A, and Thursday has been the inner circle. Okay, because of the fact we're full guns blazing, we are in build mode right now. Tuesday through Friday is going to change. We're going to go to what Mike likes to call the roadmap webinar. It's going to be about a 30-minute webinar, and it's at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And this 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Is supposed to be down here with the roadmap. So there are actually 3 slots available every day, 10 a.m., 4 p.m. Those 2 are for teams that request Mike's time. At 6 p.m., though, we're going to have the 30-minute webinar every day open to everyone. Okay. If you want to schedule a time with Mike to do a 10 a.m. or 4 p.m. with your private team, he is available for that. This starts tomorrow. Okay. So the iGrow 60, the live Q&A, and the inner circle are going to go away. We're going straight to the building blocks, okay, to the roadmap to success for you guys. It's going to start off with the comp plan highlights, expandable matrix overview, comp example spreadsheet, testimonials, some quick testimonials. We're not looking for, like 5, 10, 15-minute, lessons from individuals. These are quick testimonials to help your prospects get a grasp on how excited people are. And then 4-step duplication process. And then the last thing is to take action. And Mike, so I'm gonna ask you, what are you and your team doing this weekend? I thought this was hot, dude.
Well, actually, we're doing it Thursday night, Ron, and I got to tell you, it's funny to watch things evolve, especially over 20 years. It's amazing sometimes where the brain, even at my age, just kind of snaps in and you go, wait a minute, we had tremendous success doing that way back in the day, but with modern technologies, texting, I mean, 20 years ago, nobody knew what a text was. We were still carrying phones in the lunchbox, in the leather lunchbox case, right? So but looking at just drawing on past experiences and then saying, well, wait a minute, we could do this. Every Thursday night here in Coeur d'Alene, we do a meeting, kind of an opportunity meeting, have for a long time, and even dating back to other business models. But it's kind of a function in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So I was with Corey. He's one of my big leaders here in Coeur d'Alene. Last Thursday, I said, you know what, Corey? I said, we're going to have a text party next Thursday. A text party. You got to be very careful when you say that, but we're going to have a text party next Thursday. And as we talked about it more and more, it was amazing how powerful something like that could be. Not just for a local group, but doing it for, on a grander scale, coast to coast. It doesn't matter. So the format's going to work like this. I've opened up my office starting at 5 o'clock. We're gonna go on a text campaign between 5 and 6. And then at 6 o'clock, I'm going to break away from the group, and I'm going to come do this brand new webinar that Ron's talking about, the roadmap, and kind of just going over the spreadsheet. And then I'm going to pop back up for a little bit. We're going to get everybody jazzed up some more. They're going to continue with their text blasting to their friends. Doesn't matter where their friends live. We're not trying to chase them down to the office. This could be people that they know, states away or even countries away. But driving traffic to two different events: the 6 o'clock roadmap webinar and the 7 o'clock Blitz webinar. And we're just going to make it a mainstay on Thursdays, where every single Thursday we're going to be, people coming down to the office. For some reason in the belly-to-belly world, we still love that actual interaction, that human interaction, getting together and high-fiving each other, having a piece of pizza and a soda, and having some fun. So that's exactly what we're going to stay with, but yet using all of the modern technologies of, web broadcasting. Yeah, even 10 years ago there was no such thing, right? And now to be able to broadcast, globally with a webinar where people can see your screen, I mean, it's huge. So we're going to take all those elements, tie them all together, still keep the belly to belly in place. And you know what, to be honest with you guys, everybody's welcome to do the same exact thing, because we're going to be talking about it from corporate offices that, hey, there's a party going on down at corporate. You don't have to drive down to corporate, which would be hard to do if you lived in North Carolina anyway, but you can have the same party with us. We're starting at 5 o'clock Pacific Coast time, and people are just going to be texting away to their friends, driving traffic again to two different events: the 6 o'clock event and the 7 o'clock event. And right behind the 7 o'clock event is another 8 o'clock event. We might stay there all night long just driving traffic to three different webinars. So, and I fully anticipate that growing into a grander Saturday event where we will definitely invite everybody in, and everybody can be doing the same thing on a Saturday morning. We'll just get, we'll get it slotted out to where, the messaging is, hey, these guys are broadcasting live from corporate headquarters at 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, at 11 o'clock, and let's build on that energy. You get your new guy to show up. It gives them enough time to sign up and shoot some text out and drive some traffic to the very next meeting, which is an hour later. And so we're going to be bringing some stuff in like that. Again, as Ron started this webinar tonight, it's all about helping you guys grow. We've got all the systems in place that we need. I mean, the comp plan is outrageous. I mean, every single aspect of it is beautiful. The back office is awesome the way it stands right now. It just keeps getting better, if there is such a thing. So those are the kind of things we're going to do. It is now time. And I've told my group too, and I don't mean to be too long-winded here, you guys, but we, for a long time, all we could talk about was what was coming. And I think I've mentioned this on a couple of webinars now. There is no more, what's coming. It's here. And, this is the fun time. This is the fun part. Reaching out to mothers, moms, dads, brothers, sisters, next door neighbors, and saying, hey, I've got it. I've got the next big deal in social networking. And if you do it right, if you do it how I'm doing it, OMG, it could be over the top ridiculous when it comes to the amount of money you could make helping this company build this social network. Take that excitement to the people that you know and drive them to a 2-minute video and then to a 30-minute webinar, followed by this new 30-minute webinar, the roadmap. All I can tell you is all the systems are there, and we are here to do nothing but support every single one of you out there to help you build this as big as you want.
Well, absolutely. And Mike, while you're talking there, I was thinking too, a lot of times I suggest to people that, don't go all high tech. You've got to have the high touch with the high tech. And that's where I love what you're doing here as far as, bringing your team together and getting in the same room with them. And will everybody have that opportunity? Well, there's a lot of folks that, have people in different countries. But what you could do is you can get on the phone with them, or you can do a Google Hangout with your folks and give them that high touch side of it as well. And one of the reasons that Mike was doing this was last Thursday when he was having a meeting, he realized through the questions that were coming in, a lot of people don't know how to copy and paste a text. As simple as it may seem to some of us, some people don't know how. And if we focus in on the individuals who may not know how to do that, and we make this system so simple that anybody can do it, the duplication of this will just take off. I mean, again, we talk about all the time this super highway that we have to run down, the social media industry that's growing faster than anything in history. You guys have that to tap into. You got that sex appeal right there, where people go, "Wow, I want to be with that network." How do I get into it? Well, you got to come in through the iGrow network. Okay, and let me show you how to build a business where you can really capitalize on what's going on in this industry. And then you take that extra, 15 minutes or so with your folks when you first sign them up, Take 15 minutes with them and go through their contacts and just show them exactly how to copy and paste a text. Hold them accountable. Just say, hey, if we do this right now, not tomorrow, not the next day, not this weekend, but we do it right now, takes 15 minutes. I'll show you how to do it. We'll blast out your whole list. And by the end of the day, you could have folks on the webinars already.
Well, I'm gonna tell a story, Ron.
Sure.
I'm gonna tell on you because you gave me a bad time. If Bill's on the line, Bill, he meant it with love, I'm sure. But Bill came down to the office. He went through the entire cycle we're talking about. Went to a 2-minute video, was then sent to a webinar. He got so excited after the webinar. I think I mentioned this last week. He got so excited after the webinar. He called up his sponsor and he said, "Hey, is there any way I can meet with Mike today? I can't even. My feet aren't even on the ground." He was so excited. He came in on Wednesday. He looped back on Friday, which was payday. Signed up, and before he left, it took me 5 minutes while he was doing some stuff, kind of getting his thoughts in line. I was just sending him texts. I sent him the text that he was sent originally, but I customized it with his brand new username that we just made. But I sent him the other 7 texts as well, which were the links to get to each one of the webinars. I just prefer to do it that way. It is a little bit cumbersome at the beginning stages, but I talked to Bill today, and you know what he said he was doing, Ron?
What's that?
He said he was texting people. I'm shooting out texts, and I'm ready for their response. And as soon as they respond, I'm just going to shoot them the next text, which is, which webinar do you want to go to? I got a webinar going off at 3 o'clock. Are you busy at 3? And if they're not, boom, I'm sending them the link to the 3 o'clock webinar. So loading people up, getting their guns loaded. I love your graphics, Ron. Getting your gun loaded with the right ammunition doesn't take a whole long time. It really doesn't. Within 5 minutes, you could really have somebody dialed in, and their phone turns into a bomb. Wow, guns and bombs is getting crazy. I mean, they've got the ability to text with the follow-up text and then just let them loose, and it becomes a text war. You just start texting people left and right. The ones that respond in a positive light, you're sending them to a webinar. The ones that respond positively, that you get them, you sign them up. They need more. They might need this next webinar that we're going to talk about right now. They might need to see the numbers. Maybe they're saying, well, wait a minute, how much money could I make? Get me more excited, please. And I'm telling you what got Bill so darn excited that first Wednesday was this spreadsheet that we're going to go over again tonight. He saw that, and you could just sit back and watch and that's why I love Belly to Belly so much. You could watch the excitement in his eyes just build, and his focus was right on the bottom line of how much money he could make if he did these certain things, and it's a big deal. But getting your people, Ron made fun of me when Bill left. He goes, "So did you get a ring out of that deal, Mike?" Because we spent so much time together. But you know what? That maybe hour that we spent together, I turned to Ron and I said, "Hey, I just, it's all about making the mini me, right? So
Exactly.
you take people even when they're brand new and you plug them into the system, you give them the ammunition they need, whether they can, shoot well or not doesn't matter. They've got the bullets in their cell phone, and they're ready to send those texts out. They get motivated to do it, and they're off and running. Doesn't matter how good their aim is, but they're going to go into action. They're going to start throwing bullets out there. So it worked. Bill, yeah, off the
Absolutely.
soapbox.
Excellent. Now that you make me sound like a bad guy, I appreciate that.
I gotta go look at the scrolls and see if Bill's here.
Yeah, you've got already some requests coming in for people. People want you to contact them. I don't know if it's Bill Baker or not, but there's a William right there asking you to get a hold of him. So you're popular already, Mike. Okay, so guys, before we head into the rest of this webinar, obviously we have to go through income disclosure statements, okay? Because we're going to talk some numbers. And you guys are going to see this a lot from now on, the IDS, the income disclosure statement, just about every single webinar. Because of the fact, again, the foundation's in place, now we're ready to build. Anytime that you guys are getting ready to talk numbers, if you're using the spreadsheet or anything like that, please, 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 okay, protect the company, protect your business, and always, always, always give an income disclosure. Okay, it's a must. And I really don't want to hear about any of you guys out there using spreadsheets or anything without giving proper disclosure first. Okay, so we need to make sure that you guys are going through this and not just put it up, but even read it to people. Your success depends upon your skills, your work efforts, and market conditions. Okay, the iGrow network does not guarantee any level of income or success. The reason that we're putting the spreadsheets and things up in front of you guys and making them available is because folks were leaving the webinars going, okay, all right, so they have 9 generations of U level. And I see that, as an affiliate, I can earn $17. And if I bring one personal, I get 3 generations. I bring 3 personals, I get 6. And with 5 personals, I get all 9. But it doesn't mean that they're crunching the numbers. Okay. How many people can be on your unilevel generations? Guys, you could have 100 people on your first generation alone if you want. You know, I've had people in the past when I was building teams that had close to, well, one of them I could think of right now had 192 personals. Okay. So if you were to bring on 192 personals, how many do you have on your second, your third, your fourth, your fifth? How many on your ninth? This is not a 3 who get 3 on your unilevel. Okay. You can go as wide as you want. Okay. So how do you quantify what we just talked about there on the 3x9 force matrix? You bring in one personally, referred associate membership. You open up 3 generations deep. Now, the one thing that we like to point out here, and I'm just running through this really fast. We're going to bring it all back together with the spreadsheet. But what I like to point out here is, you could literally bring in one person, and these first 3 levels could fill up. Okay, from spillover from above. Um, if you only brought on one, I mean, only one of your legs would fill up, but you could literally get spillover from above for those other 2 frontline positions of yours that could fill up, the rest of your first 3 generations. And so, literally, off of one person, you could be making $105 in matrix income. And if you haven't seen the expandable version of this, which I mean, as I said, the sky is no longer the limit with our expandable matrix. I'm just showing you a basic 3x9 right now. Okay. It's incredible what could take place. You bring in 3 personally sponsored associate memberships. Okay. You open up 6 generations deep. Your income level right there on a 3x9 just went up to $2,211. Okay. But again, I want to show you the expandable version here in a moment. You bring on 5 personally referred. You open up all 9 levels deep. Okay. So not looking at a whole lot here, guys. I mean, I've been in programs in the past where you had to have to get all 9 levels, you had to have a minimum of 20 personals, minimum, at a much higher price. So, when we're talking about $49 a month and you only have to get 5 of those, that's less than $250 in sales total. So, I mean, to open up incredible income potential. And this is no longer your cap. Okay. Let's take a look at this here for just a moment. This is the 3x9 expandable matrix, guys. And in this scenario, which we may rework this scenario, if this one is not easy for you guys to understand, we could easily rework it to where all 3 of your first ones, let's say they fell out and they didn't stay with the program, what would happen then? But I want to show you real quick what happens with our dynamic compression. It sets us aside, excuse me, from anything else in the industry because of the way that we're compressing it. A lot of companies will compress up the far left leg. Okay, so the far left leg of any one of these individuals. But in this scenario here, let's say this first person you brought in falls out. Okay, on December 10th, anyone who has not made a payment 30 days or more beyond their last renewal date, okay, we're going to dynamically compress those individuals out of the matrix. Not going to kick them out of iGrow Network, okay, but they will be removed from the matrix and they'll permanently lose their current matrix downline. Now, there are emails going out to anybody who's past due right now. But, if you've got people on your team, which you could easily find that out by going into the downline viewer and clicking on past due. Okay. So if you do that and you see you got a bunch of folks there, start contacting them. Help corporate. Okay. This is your downline. We're trying to help you guys out and get your people current and active. But if you've got some of those, reach out to them. Okay. Let me finish what's going to happen here also. The associates, when they reactivate, they'll still have their personals, their check match, and their e-commerce commissions, but they will re-enter at the bottom of the matrix, guys. Okay. And once we do this on December 10th, we're going to continue to dynamically compress the first Friday of each month. Now, we had some folks that didn't understand matrices that said, why are you doing that? We don't understand. We don't think that's right. We had people that came in and they were waiting for the product, and why are we kicking them out of the program? Well, a lot of folks that have gone inactive while they were waiting for the product to come out are actually now becoming a detriment. Okay, the product's been out now for about 2.5 months. The social network. Okay, iGrow Network's been around for a while. The university's been out for a while. The foundation is in place. Now we owe it to you guys, okay? Because dead spots hurt you. We need to help you maximize your earning potential through your matrix. Okay. A lot of you guys have people beyond your ninth level that you're not making any money on because you got too many dead spots. Okay. What's a dead spot? Well, let's assume this gentleman here doesn't upgrade or doesn't, not upgrade, but doesn't renew by December 10th. He's a dead spot. Okay. He's not providing support to the folks underneath of him. He's not bringing in anybody new. So he becomes a weak spot. So when you guys bring in somebody new and it's called spillover, do you really want them to end up underneath somebody who's inactive? All right. On top of that, you're not earning on this position, but it's taking up one more level, pushing folks down another level, which you only have 9 levels to earn on. You starting to see the picture there? So if you remove this spot here, rather than sliding up the far left leg, we're going to bring all 3 of their individuals. Let's assume in this scenario that he had his first 3 individuals. All 3 of them come up, giving you 5 people on your first level now. So it's no longer a 3x9. It's an expandable matrix. So if you were, let me give you a real easy scenario, because everybody here, these 3, the 9 underneath them, the 27 underneath them, all compress up, giving you 5, 15, and 45. What happens if all 3 of your front spots fill out? Obviously, now I want to make this very clear, though, guys. We don't want anybody to fall out of the matrix. We would love it if everybody would get current and continue forward and be part of this exciting growth that we're about to go through. But what happens if all 3 of these fall out? But yet they had all 3 had their 3. Let's just make a real easy assumption here. We know from the previous page you would have been limited to $120,000 a month income potential. Okay, maximum income potential on a 3x9. If these 3 fell out, all 9 of these would come up, and your matrix now has a $360,000 a month income potential. Guys, over time, as this compresses and compresses and compresses, because some will, some won't. Okay, finish the analogy. So what? Again, when you bring somebody in, you want to work with them, you want to create relationships, but some folks are just going to go to the wayside. And that's why we've made this so exciting is if somebody does fall out, rather than being a negative, it can become a positive for you. You literally one day could have a matrix that's so wide that you could have over $1 million a month income potential from your matrix. The sky is no longer the limit with this, guys. So hopefully that made sense. Mike, do you want to add anything to this?
OMG.
Okay.
I like your bottom line on the right there, Ron, because that's simply it. If you look at the future, and that's what you want to be looking at, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, what's this matrix going to look like for you? And that's kind of what you want to look at, because I promise you, if you look at if you ever did any work with a forced matrix, if you don't have a dynamic compression system in place, it's going to fail. You'll have massive
Absolutely.
holes in it, and the work that you do where you think, oh my goodness, all I have to do is fill this matrix and I'm going to make $120,000 a month. Well, it's never going to happen if you have holes at the top of that matrix. You would personally have to do way too much recruiting, and it almost, yeah, unless you're really, 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 really good, that means you're really good. At personally recruiting, you could have a really tough time filling a matrix. But over time with compression like this, because people come and go for different reasons, if they go, let them go. If they come back, they're going to take your next available spot in your matrix anyway. But this is what you want. If you've ever dreamed of filling a matrix, this is what you want. It's what you need. You've got to have some kind of compression. And I'll tell you, if you can have, instead of 3 on your first level, maybe 5 or maybe more, because every single month at compression, one spot goes out, it can load up with 3 more on that first level. You can end up with even more than 9 on your first level. So it is the right thing. It is the thing to do. And if you talk to anybody that have been around matrix, force matrix systems, they'll tell you the same thing. This absolutely has to happen, or no one's going to be happy long term.
Absolutely. And again, guys, there's a lot of different ways to compress a matrix. And we took our time on this one. This is something that I looked at a couple of years ago with one of the programs that I was working on, and we were going to implement this. I actually ended up resigning from that company before I introduced them to the idea. But this is something that when we went through and really, vetted out the different ways to do this, this by far is the most lucrative to you guys. There was different ways that we could have done it that would have been more lucrative to corporate, but that's not what it's about. It's about putting more money in your guys' pocket and helping you guys explode. Okay. Because through that, then the company, because I mean, obviously the company always needs to be healthy, but through your guys' explosive growth and your continual growth and the retention that we'll get, because this is an industry with a lot of attrition. Okay. But with the retention that we get through putting more and more money into your guys' pocket, we get that long-term relationship, that long-term growth with you guys. And that's where the company explodes as well. So, we put you guys first, and then in turn the company will have the health that it needs. So this was by far the most lucrative that we could possibly come up with for you guys. So hopefully that'll make sense, and how that works. And again, I don't want you to sit here and go, well, then I just will contact my first three people. I'll let them fall out, and I got nine. Don't do that. Okay, still reach out to your people and try and get them current. Build those relationships, because it's a lot more fun when you have team members working with you. And over time, I mean, your matrix will compress, it will expand, but try and keep every team member on that you possibly can. Let's go ahead and move forward on this, Mike. Let's go into real quick here the 9th-generation e-commerce. Again, this is just a quick highlight overview, and I'm going to have Mike bring all this together in the spreadsheet here in just a moment. Dora, I see that you're asking about the spreadsheet. He is going to go over that here in just a second. E-commerce, obviously, free affiliates can still come in, make their money. Okay. Oh, you know what? I wanted to tell you guys, back on the webinar page, and I just had this thought. We didn't do away with all the webinars. We didn't do away with, the Blitz. Okay. The only ones we did away with were the 3 corporate ones. So we'll have our Monday night corporate jumpstart, but then the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday corporate ones, we're replacing those with the 6 o'clock roadmap webinar. But all the Blitz webinars are still in place. Okay. I just want to make sure that was really clear for you guys. So we did not do away with like the 50 webinars a week that are going on right now. Okay, so associates can earn on 10% on their personals, 5 all the way down through their 7th, and then 10% on their 8th and 9th. And if you guys make it into the IG3K, which if you follow the system that Mike has been laying out here with the 4-step process, which I guess we'll go through here in just a second. You guys go through that, you'll be in the IG3K. You could be in it tomorrow. I mean, it's really nothing. What does it take to get in the IG3K? Which I just showed you, it has twice the commission. The IG3K has 3,000 positions open. Okay, all you got to have is your own position active and current, and 3 other memberships underneath you active and current. Okay, that's all it takes, and then you can get an equal share of the VIP pool and double e-commerce commissions. Mike, talk real quick about the VIP pool, please.
While you while you try to regain your voice, uh, the viral install pool, guys, it's a huge selling point right now. Will be, I think, forever. And I'll go over it on the spreadsheet. But viral installs are people that are going to find our social network without a connection to another friend. Very, very soon you will see even our leafit.com website go to invite only. And the only way they're going to be able to join our social network is with an invite. And for those that are in the IG3K, guess who's going to get all of those requests? You and me. I'm going to assume what Ron always says. I'm going to assume the close and assume that you get yourself into this IG3K club. You just have to. I mean, there's 3,000 spots. You want to get in there. You want to get as many people in your organization in there, because when you start talking about 1 million viral installs, is kind of what I go over on my spreadsheet. All I can tell you is that's like 333 friends for you. If we were tapped out on that 3,000, and there were 3,000 associates in the IG3K, just take 1 million and divide it by 3,000, you got 333.
Mike, why don't you go ahead and
How
pull
would
that
you like to have
spreadsheet up now?
333 friends? Sure, I
Yeah,
can do
let's
that.
go. Yeah, let's transition into that. I
Um,
got a lot of people asking for it, so let's just go straight into it. And you can bring this entire comp plan together in just a matter of a few minutes. And guys, this is going to be a big part of the roadmap webinar that Mike is going to be hosting.
Make presenter. Is that the right button, Ron? I always
Yes,
do that
sir, it
wrong.
is. You got it right there.
Beautiful. Show my screen. All right, you guys. I want to start by saying, Ron and I were talking about this afternoon. What about people that aren't real astute with Excel or maybe don't own Microsoft Office? I just went back and fact checked that it is still out there. You don't have to run out and buy Microsoft Office to make this spreadsheet work. You can get a free download. It's openoffice.org. It integrates extremely well with Facebook, and it's free. It's a free download. I'm not trying to take business away from Microsoft. I know Bill probably hates it when I say that you can get this stuff for free, but you can. It's maybe not quite as sexy, but I've used it before and it functions. So if you have some spreadsheet skills but you don't have Microsoft Office and you don't want to go out and spend, well, wait a minute. I think you can get Microsoft 365 now for $9.95 a month. You just do their monthly thing. Anyway, I don't want to turn into a Microsoft salesman or an openoffice.org salesman, but yes, you can get this spreadsheet working for you for free or for very, very cheap. It used to
Mike,
be
I
you
also
might
want
have
to
to
add
spend
right
two, three
there.
hundred bucks.
I also want to add that we will have our programmers. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we will have them program this into the back office as well.
Beautiful. You were talking about that too, Ron. That sounds pretty darn exciting. So very simple interface in the back office would be beautiful. So here's what we're going to do inside of this new webinar, you guys. The format again is shoot a text out and drive traffic to your iGrow tour, igrowtour.com, your lead capture pages. So that's your username.igrowtour.com. Shoot 10 texts out. Say, hey, I found it. I found it, or any variation to that. We put up an example in the back office. You can talk, they're your friends. You can talk to them however you want. We can give you recommendations and suggestions, but find something that's working for you and blast everybody you can with a text. The ones that respond to you, simply get them to one of our Blitz webinars. Okay. Now, when they contact you back after the Blitz webinar, if they're not, 100% there, and they're still asking questions, you might want to bring them to this webinar. This webinar, we're going to tie the whole thing together. We're going to do it at least once a day. I'm taking private private appointments at the 4 o'clock, let's see, at the 10 o'clock hour, the 4 o'clock hour, the Pacific Coast time. So we're pretty much going to make this available to anybody we can, even those that don't understand Excel spreadsheets or have never used a spreadsheet before. We'll make this available to you and get it working for you. But here's the story that I'm going to tell inside of this webinar. We're going to keep this webinar at 30 minutes, but it's real simple because they've watched the IG3K Blitz webinar. If you haven't watched that, then you might be a little bit lost too if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say IG3K. You want to go watch one of those webinars. Okay, if you're going to send traffic there, you better go watch it first. But we talk about getting your 3. So right over here on this side of the screen, start from left to right, we're going to show that this person, the person you've invited in to watch this, that they're going to go get 3 associates. Okay. Now, when they do, this is their unilevel commission structure that Ron was just talking about, $17 for every single brand new associate. Well, times 3, that makes $51. So if you've sponsored 3, what have you done? You put your $49 back in your pocket plus a couple dollars, right? Okay. Well, let's go do that again. Let's help your 3 get their 3. It's one thing for you personally to be in the IG3K, but when you can start taking your 3 friends and say, you're going along for the ride, or are you going to get in the driver's seat? Go get 3 and jump in this IG3K with me. Okay, so 3 to get 3. Now you've got 9 on your second level. Okay, you've made a little more money in the unilevel pay, but you've also, and I think this is the big one, 3 to get 3 puts you in a position to have a $51 a month income. You're paying 49. You're in the black already, right out of the gate. Now, let's do that one more time, okay? And help these 9. However you want to structure it. You want to work with Bob and his 3. Hey, Bob, what do we need to do to help your 3 get their 3? Then go to Sally. She's one of your other 3, okay? She's got 3. Okay, Sally, how do we get your 3 to get 3? Okay, you don't have to go out and eat that whole elephant yourself. Now go to the last one, Sam, and say, Sam, he's on your front line. Okay, you got 3. I'm proud of you, Sam. Now let's help your 3 get 3. And just follow me all the way through this. Now that right there probably does not excite most of the people that are on this call. And this is where network marketing starts breaking down. I don't care how good your comp planner is or anything else. In the beginning stages, you can do that kind of work and go, okay, so what you're telling me, Mike, is I'm going to make $123. I'm going to have a $105 a month income, so I can't quit my day job yet. And I'm going to tell you, you're right. Now, here's the kicker. You just need people to listen just this long. And we're less than 5 minutes into explaining this spreadsheet. What happens when our social network goes viral? What happens when we have 1 million downloads? The first 1 million downloads, I don't know when it's going to happen. I know we got 2.0 that's just looking sweeter than sweet right now. There's all kinds of talk about when we might get our first 1 million viral installs. And viral installs, again, are simply people that have found our social network without a connection to another friend. So I'm going to throw it in here. I'm going to tell you right now today there's about 200, I did it again. There's about 225 people qualified for the IG3K, okay? That means, and we can round that up. Let's say maybe there's 500 in there by the time we do the first 1 million installs. And this is all what if, okay? So 1 million installs, I think that's absolutely going to be done. I mean, you've got companies like Ello out there, Ello, the social network that launched in March, they're getting requests of 50,000 an hour. 50,000 requests an hour to join their social network. It's invite only. That's 1.2 million a day. We're talking about, 1 million period. And if 500 people in the beginning stages here are qualified for IG3K, that means you'd have 2,000. 2,000 people connected to you. Now, inside of the webinar, the Blitz webinar, if you haven't been there, we talk about what if you have 10 friends and each have 10 friends and each have 10 friends, right? You go through 9 generations of friends and it's a mind-boggling number of people that would be connected to you. Well, I'm going to say, what if out of these 2,000 people that come to our social network unsolicited by a friend, they just found us, right? What if we're dropping down here now? What if just 100 of them just fall in love with our social network and go, you got to be kidding me, just 100? And what if each one of them just has 4 friends? And instead of going 9 generations deep, what if we just go 2 generations deep? And what if out of those people, the average purchase made is maybe $50? Okay? And out of the $50, let's say Leafit is going to make 10%. That's on a sliding scale. Who knows? It depends on what retailer you're going to. But then your commission, because you're in the IG3K, you're going to make at least 10% on every single one of those purchases. Okay, 10% of Leafit's commission, because you're IG3K qualified. On the 8th and 9th level, you'll be making 20%. Now watch what happens. That turns into a 50-cent commission per user. Where did you get your 100 friends? It doesn't even include your mom, your dad, your brother and sister, your next door neighbors, the pizza guy, and the girl at the dry cleaners. It doesn't even include those. This is just 100, 1 out of 20 of 2,000 that were given to you because you're IG3K qualified. And not just you, but there's 13 of you that are IG3K qualified. We're going to get there in a second. But were you guys watching this number over here? Because this should be your focal point. You're talking about making $1,000, over $1,000 a month, because 100 of these 2,000 fell in love with our social network, and those 100 each had 4 friends who each had 4 friends. We only went 2 levels deep, not all 9, just 2. And that in itself makes you $1,000 a month. Now watch this. What if the conversion rate on these 2,000 ends up being 2%? Just another what if. But I've had people tell me they think it's going to be as high as 10%. When people understand that the social network, they're getting paid to be on our social network, they can get paid a whole bunch more by being an associate. I've had people telling me, pretty smart people telling me they think it's going to be closer to 10%. I'm trying to stay conservative here. I went with 2%. But when I put that 2% in there, it means that every single person in your matrix, whether they're personally sponsored to you or not, that is IG3K qualified, and in this scenario I drew out for you over here, that means 13 of you are qualified. You and 12 more are qualified to receive associates, the 2% conversion on the 2,000. That just exploded your matrix over here. These 81, these 243, this 196 here, those are all people that found Leafit, the social network, without a connection to a friend. They were given to you because you're IG3K qualified. They were given to your people inside of your matrix because they were IG3K qualified. And what do we end up with bottom line? Almost a $2,200 a month income. Now, that's the roadmap, okay? I could play with these numbers all day long, especially in e-commerce, you guys. It is mind-boggling to me that we talk about 1 million. What happens when it's 10? And maybe maybe there's 1,000 people, or maybe there's 2,000 people. I mean, it just gets silly. Even if there were 3,000 people, okay. in the IG3K. You've still got a ton of people that are going to be given to you because you're IG3K qualified. Okay, but bringing this back, I get dizzy when I do this myself. Bringing this back to where we started, just a million. Let's say there's just 500, twice as many people that are in the IG3K right now. There's your $2,195 a month. Who doesn't want a $2,200 a month income? And look at what you did. You simply sent some texts out to your friends and said, hey, check out this 2-minute video. And the ones that responded, you said, hey, next step, go check out this 30-minute webinar. And the ones that call back, I'm going to tell you that 50% of them that call back are ready to sign up right now. Your excitement and what they just saw is enough for them. They're ready to go. The ones that aren't, bring them to the third webinar, or well, actually the second webinar, or the third step, but bring them to this webinar. Just invite them to this webinar. We'll go over the numbers just like this, and you tell me who does not want to make an extra $2,000 a month simply helping build a social network. It's as simple as that. Now, the last thing I like to show is, you want to be a superstar, okay? Or for some of you, maybe this isn't superstar status, but I think you're definitely on the way. Can you help 6 people do this? Can you identify 6 people? If you're just shooting texts out and you've got this system down and it's just working and people are signing up and it's starting to build, and we've got our first 1,000,000 installs, and we got a bunch of people attached to us for free, and the conversion rate was 2 or 3 or 4%, you're going nuts. Can you find 6 people, 6, to do this, to have the goal of making a couple of $1,000s a month? 6 people. Again, what do they have to do? They have to go get another job? Do they have to punch a time clock for somebody else? No, they're going to help build a social network that pays. What if you find 6 people? Watch what happens. That's you with 6 that each do the 3-3-3. Now, I didn't change e-commerce at all, you guys. I left e-commerce alone, but I'm telling you, if you want to focus on a serious income, if you want to focus on that life-changing income stream, can you find 6 people? 3's great. 3 gets you IG3K qualified, but you're scratching the surface now. Get 3, help 3 get 3, and help their 9 get 3, right? And maybe you're looking at a couple $1,000s a month. If the viral installs come in and all this works out the way we, feel it's going to, there's a couple of $1,000s a month. But why not push the envelope? If you really want to have that life-changing income stream, how about finding 6 that go out and find 3, who find 3, that find 3? And as this thing continues to grow, because those people aren't going to stop, what happens when that goes one more level? And the numbers just come flying off the page. So where do you want to start? You want to get 3, sit back and wait? Not for me. You want to get 3 and help them get 3? Now we're getting someplace. You want to look at those 3 and say, okay, now let's help your 3 get 3? Help those 9, right? And set yourself up for success here. There is huge income potential awaiting every single one of us with what we're looking at here. I'm going to throw one more number at you, okay? What if, because this gets really crazy sick, what happens if it's 10% of these 2,000 that really like our social network? And what Lawrence Sowell is telling me is, Mike, everybody is going to fall in love with 2.0. I don't want to talk about the future. I'm just going to tell you that Mike, hands down, this is what he told me tonight when I was driving back to the house. He said, off the hook. And what if each one of them went out and had just 10 friends? Not all 300 of their friends, but just 10 friends. And what if that went, 3 generations deep? Not all 9, just 3 generations deep. Is anybody sitting back right now going, you got to be kidding me? Lawrence Sowell has told me from day one, from the very first time I met him, that networking is great, the force matrix is great, but nothing is going to be as big as the e-commerce commissions that every single one of us could put ourselves in line for if we just do the right things. So what's the right thing here? I think the right, I don't know if I've got 200 friends that I know well enough in social space to bring them in. So I might have to do a whole bunch of other things. Or I could simply go out and qualify by having 3 associates. Just 3 associates. And with a 10% conversion from people that love our social network to ones that log in every single day and are using it profusely and have just 10 friends through 3 generations of friends could make me $111,100 a month. Are you kidding me? I'm going to go out and do the 3. But I'd also like to go out and get 3 and help those 3 do the same thing. Would I not want some company on the beach, is what I always like to say. I don't want to be there all by myself. I'd like to know that I help some people get in the same position I've been able to put myself in. And if that simply means helping 3 get 3, I'd like to pick 3 and say, you know what, you're coming with me. Let's go do this. And then when they get their 3, do they want to, don't they want some options? Maybe they don't want to sit on the beach with me this week. Maybe they want to sit on the beach with one of their friends. Help each one of their 3 get 3, and you're off and running. This is huge, unbelievable, never been seen before. I talked to a gentleman today that's been around network marketing for over 10 years. He said, Mike, you know what drew me to even looking at your company is the fact that you have the ability to attract the end user that can come use your social network for free and make money. He said, that's never been done before. And I'll tell you, you roll that up into the upsell of becoming an associate and have this kind of ridiculous income stream coming at you, getting paid just 3 generations deep, off the hook. Ron at 6:57. Where does the time go? I got a webinar going off in 3 minutes. You guys, you want to come to a webinar? If you have not been to the Blitz webinar, I'm going to do a Blitz webinar 3 minutes from now. You need to come see it. I'm going to call that step 2. Step 1, shoot a text out. Get people to watch that 2-minute video on your lead capture pages. Step 2, get them to the webinar that I'm going to do 2 minutes from now. Step 3, if they still need to see more, get them to this webinar. This is going to be live Tuesday through Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And on I've got some other time slots in there where I'm willing to sit down with groups of people and show them this all day long. This is the easiest thing in the world to show. Let a professional do it for you or learn how to do it yourself, either way. But this is dynamite right here. With the proper income disclosure statement that we put right down here in the bottom left-hand corner, go